I'm trying really hard not to just like burst out in tears right in front of her face.
The interview would be in Icelandic. We have never had this question before, to have it in English.
It's time to go!
Don't interrupt me.
It's time to go!
Don't interrupt. Look, you can't even speak.
It's time to go!
Every time I watch the show, I'm wondering, what is it gonna take for Corona to be like, you know what? It's time for me to take my butt home. This girl is so resilient, I will give her that. But in this episode, we see her dream of living in Iceland, that bubble that she's been in, burst before her eyes. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, specifically Corona and Ingi. This particularly is a Corona-centered episode, and I think that it's going to just affect how she moves forward, how she approaches things with Ingi. It definitely raises the stakes, so we're going to get straight into it. Before we do, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. So it's been a while since we've seen these two. Ingi is driving Corona to this meetup. She's going to meet Black transplants that are living in Iceland, and I think she found them on social media. And so she's going to this meetup that happens every month, and she's really excited because while she loves Ingi, she's been mostly around white people that don't really get her. Ingi is really supportive of this. He says that his family loves and accepts her, so do his friends. And you know, he will never understand the race thing, but he wants her to find community. So she's hoping to get some answers on how to make life doable for herself in Iceland. First things first, girl, you have to adapt to the climate. She keeps insisting on wearing these heels in the snow, and every time I watch her, I'm like, she's gonna break an ankle. It is comedic, but also scary to watch. And that's not even it, right? Because we see her always with this big coat, but we don't see her with a scarf. We see the coat open. There's no protection, okay? And then when she takes it off and when she comes into this event, it looks like she's going to a nightclub. She's going to a bar. Chest out, no protection from this weather, garters. And in places like New York City, that looks very normal to me. It's just the clash of the backgrounds where she keeps wearing things like this to a place that isn't like her. And in this particular meetup, they're older folks. They're not like youngins that would probably, you know, understand it. They were being very nice when she walked in, but you could see that they were like, So yeah, the contrast between Corona and Iceland and these people, I was cackling. But anyway, these folks have been in Iceland for decades. They either came for love, for work. And you know, she starts asking them questions, and the first thing that they tell her is learn the language as soon as you can. Like, you won't get taken seriously if you don't know the language. And she's really nervous, you can tell, because this man is speaking, and every last word that he says, she'll be like, not the ice. Not that, like, she'll just keep doing that all over again. If I find the clip, I'll include it. I was like, girl.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
But the kids will just go up and be like,
Hey, what's up?
yeah, like, why is your hair like that?
Yeah.
Like, why is your skin brown? You know?
Yeah, what's going on here?
You know how to rap? Like, no. Like,
You
everything.
know how to rap?
But the meat of this is that you won't be able to help feeling like an outsider in Iceland. You'll stand out. That's just inevitable. But the best way to make that better for yourself is to be able to learn the language so that you can connect to people, so that you can, you know, build relationships and be able to work and assimilate, really. And so they're like, okay, so you're here, what are you gonna do? And Corona's like, well, you know, I want to do midwifery. I went to school for that, and I derailed my plans to move here. No, she's being dramatic when she says derailed, and she did derail her plans, but this is supposed to be a positive choice that she made, and she speaks of it like a derailment. And if it's true to you that it's a derailment, then why do it? You know, like, you don't get extra points for being a martyr with your career, you know? So I thought that was interesting, but she's like, you know, honestly, I really haven't done much research. I really should have done research. And they're being really nice about this, but one of the ladies is like, well, you know, in order to get work like that here, people usually do a lot of research to prepare, you know? There's prerequisites that have to get done, and then when they come here, they're ready to go. Because you're setting yourself up to be behind, and, you know, how much time are you going to give it? And they flat out tell her they may give you a harder time because you're a foreigner. They probably want to leave those jobs for people that are from here. So there are going to be things that are already set up against you, even if you are the most qualified. And so Corona is at this confessional like, I went to an Ivy League. I didn't think that I would, you know, have this against me. And babes, you went to an Ivy League in America. You are in Iceland. I don't think they care about your Ivy League. I'm sure it would have some merit if you had the appropriate licenses, if you knew the language fluently, but you don't. So for them, it's like, okay, you have an Ivy League degree, then go back there and use it. Like, I don't see how this is our problem. And this is going to come up again. Because we see her go to an informational at the one school that's in Iceland where she can do midwifery. One school. That's a lot to put in one basket. She's talking to this woman who you can tell English is not her first language, but she's being really generous with her time, having this conversation with Corona. I don't even think it's like a official informational because she asks Corona, what brings you here? And so Corona's like, I went to school for nursing. I want to study midwifery. I did get accepted into a program, but I moved here, so I would like to continue that here. And, you know, the lady tells her the prerequisites, which is, you know, a bachelor degree in nursing, which Corona already has. I think she got the license to be a nurse in America. She would need to get it, I'm sure, in Iceland. And she has to know the language fluently because the exams, the interviews, the day-to-day interactions will be in their language. It's not going to be in English. And for some reason, this is news to Corona. She says it in her research. It looked like the interview would be in English. I just don't see why she thought that it would be. Because I don't know what the statistic is of how many people know English there. Obviously, we know Ingi knows. This lady kind of knows. But I don't think that's the majority. So I'm shocked that it's a shock to her. And the lady's face when Corona asks that question about whether or not the interview would be in English, she's like, no, it would be in Icelandic. I've actually never been asked that before. And so Corona is scrappy and she wants to make things happen for herself. She's a go-getter, right? So she's like, is there a world where I can take these courses with you and also take like a second language class so that I can do it at the same time? And the lady's like, it would be difficult. It's not impossible. You should just apply. And Corona's like, yeah, like I really would love to apply. And the lady's like, well, you'll have to wait for a year and a half because our deadline just passed 2 weeks ago. Corona did no research because what? You move into this country with this being your top goal and you missed the deadline? I need to believe that this is all scripted because she's too smart to make moves like this. Corona's sitting there like, oh my God, that's a long time to waste when I could just be in America in school, but I want to be here with this man. And I feel like all of this is going to be Ingi's fault one way or another because he hasn't proposed. I just know that that's where we are headed. But yeah, like she did not prepare. And I mean, I want to be like, oh, like Ingi should have helped her, but he isn't in nursing. This isn't his industry. I don't see how he would know that unless you're in that world and you look it up. Like if this was of priority, I would have been like, babe, I need your language skills right now. Can you call up this school and ask for this, and this so that I can prepare? But none of that happened. Wow. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. Let me know. I will be keeping up with them because I just love mess. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.